Hello book lovers, and welcome back or welcome to Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe. I am here to start another vlog. So today is Friday the 17th and I am taking a long weekend, so I figured I would go ahead and do a vlog during that time. So I have today through Tuesday the 22nd off, and I have a few things planned, and I thought I'd start the vlog off by just kind of walking through what to expect. Today, in just a little while, I'm gonna head up to Seattle to visit my younger sister. We're gonna grab some lunch and do some book shopping. There is a bookstore near her that is having an anniversary sale where everything is 50% off, and they also have cats there, apparently. So very excited to go ahead and check that place out. Then on Saturday, I'm probably gonna try and get a lot of filming done. I am home alone from Saturday through Tuesday. My parents are taking a trip, so I'm just gonna be doing my own thing. So I figured it would be a good time for me to try to do a 48-hour readathon, and I'm gonna try and do that for Sunday and Monday. So I have a few books that I want to go ahead and read, and I'll just talk through what my potential reads are here. So the first book that I will be reading kind of throughout this vlog on and off is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This is a book I've been working on since November, but we are in the final stretch. I am right here where this tab is. And I'm on chapter 11. There's 14 chapters in this book. Today I will be working on chapter 11. I don't know if I'll finish it. You know, it depends on how late I get home from Seattle. But what I've been doing is I've been reading a chapter every time I finish another physical book. So yesterday I finished Howl's Moving Castle, which is why I'm going to be reading a chapter of this. And then anytime I finish another physical book within this readathon or within this vlog, I will go ahead and read another chapter of this. I don't quite have all of this left because I did already read her victim statement. You can see some tabs here at the end. So I'm very optimistic that I'm going to finish it this month, and it would be nice if I finished it during this vlog as well. As for the books I'm hoping to read today, I'm hoping to finish it's called The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. I have about an hour and a half left of that, and my drive up to Seattle is about an hour, and I'm listening to it on 2x speed, so I'm hoping to go ahead and finish that up today. I have another audiobook that I'm hoping to start after that. I've been not super consistent with audiobooks, so I don't want to like put it out there that I'm gonna finish it, but it is, I think, only about 8 hours long. And that is Blackmail, and I'm gonna read it, Bibinka. Sorry if I said that wrong, but that's by Mia Manasala. The first book is The Arsenic and Adobo. I have been having a fun time with this cozy mystery series, and looking forward to continuing with that. As for the two physical books I'm hoping to read, the first one is Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. This is the last book I need to read to complete my bingo board for the Heartstopper readathon I'm taking part in. That's hosted by Jess Martine. I'll go ahead and link her down below. This is a pretty short book. This is less than 300 pages, 297 I think, and it's a book of the month book, so the text is pretty big, and so I'm pretty optimistic that I should be able to complete this by the end of Sunday for sure. The next physical book I'm hoping to get through, I'm looking now and the text is actually kind of teeny tiny, but we'll give it a shot, and that is The Last Sun by K.D. Edwards. This is a reread for me, so I'm always hoping that rereads go a little bit quicker because I've kind of already been in this world with these characters, so I'm already kind of familiar with everything. and have a easier time moving more quickly through the story. I will, of course, tell you a bit more about these books once I actually start reading them, but I just wanted to jump in and give an introduction, and I'm gonna go ahead and head out to Seattle and hopefully find some good new books to read.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Alright, so I am back from Seattle. I don't think I took too many videos while I was there. When it came to the bookstore, it was very maze-like, and there was a lot of people, and all the spaces were relatively small, so it's kind of difficult to be doing any sort of filming in there, but it was a cute bookstore. It didn't have like a ton of books that I personally was super interested in. I read more recent titles, and a lot of the books that seemed to be there were older, like even pre-2000s or early 2000s, things like that. There was a few newer releases, but very, very few as far as at least titles that I personally recognize. But I did get 3 books, which I'm relatively happy with. I believe I spent like under $12 for these 3 books, so pretty good deal. The first one I said I wasn't gonna get any nonfiction because I have so many nonfiction that I haven't read because I'm very slow at reading nonfiction, but you know, I just had to grab at least one because when it comes to nonfiction, I do prefer to get them used or on sale since they're usually a bit more expensive. So the one I decided to go with was Nelson Mandela's book, or well, it's not his book. This is the Cambridge Companion edition, which the owner of the store said that she had read a previous book by this group that was really well done, so hopefully they do a good job with this one as well. And it's like multiple essays by just different people who specialize in different areas of his life, or even different studies, and take their expertise in that study and use it to further interpret his life and decisions and things like that. So I figured it would be kind of an interesting book, and it's separate essays, so I can just, you know, slowly make my way through it over time. So there is that. And then the other 2 are fiction. The first one I have is The Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. This is a book that I've kind of seen floating around, and I do believe I've seen a YouTuber read one of her other books, and I can't remember the name of that one, but I do believe that she is well known for writing lesbian fiction and receiving a lot of awards for her lesbian literature, and is one of the earlier writers of it as well. So this is kind of like a historical story, and we're following a woman who gets approached by a man to kind of get her help with him seducing a noblewoman, I believe. But of course, the two of them develop a relationship as well. But I think it might have some kind of maybe mystery or maybe a thriller aspect to it. It says a definitely plotted thriller. So I guess it does. And it does seem like our main character is actually also a thief, which is where the word fingersmith, I guess, comes from, because she's part of a group that goes by the fingersmiths. So Tripping the Velvet, I think, is the name of the book that other booktuber was reading. So that's, I think, how I know this author. But I'm interested to check out her work, and I've been looking for more books with female romances in them. So yeah, I'm excited to give this a try. It is a little bit chunkier. I didn't check how many pages this is. It's over 500. So, and then the last book I was very excited to see there. This was like one of the only books that is a more recent publication and was actually like on my physical TBR. And that is A Curious Beginning by Diana Rayborn. I've seen this series pop up a few times. It seems to be kind of like a Victorian mystery thriller. I'm very much enjoying the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and I have a feeling that this will have similar vibes to it. So I'm very excited to have found a copy of this to add to my shelves, and we'll probably be picking it up relatively soon after I finish the last two books in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Now, I did finish my audiobook when I was driving up to Seattle, which was The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. I need to sit on it just a little bit longer. Obviously, I've been doing other things today, so I wasn't able to give my final thoughts on my reread or anything, but I did have quite a lot of fun with this book. Of course, I'm trying to keep in mind that I'm kind of in a slump, so I don't think I'm really enjoying everything as much as I usually would. Right now, I'm thinking I'm gonna give it a 4-star. You know, a 4-star is a very comfortable place for me to be. I did really enjoy the romance in the story, and enjoyed both of our characters very much. One thing I kind of forgot about this book, but was reminded of, is that it does definitely touch on domestic violence. So just a bit of a trigger warning there if anyone is interested in reading this book. The audiobook experience was very interesting. I'm still pretty new to listening to romance novels, and the enthusiasm of the narrator was sometimes making the sex scenes more funny than erotic, but you know, I'm just there to have a good time, and I had a good time, so there's Loka. You know, mission accomplished. So overall, just a really fun story. I always have a great time with hey baby, Talia Hibbert, and was really glad to be able to re-experience the story, and will of course be checking out lots of her backlog and future work as well. So tomorrow is kind of going to be my really busy day, so I don't know how often I'll be checking in. I'm going to be trying to do some filming and some editing. I also got a notice that my book was available at the library, which would have been nice if it came in this morning, so I could have picked it up on the way to Seattle instead of having to drive, you know, 25 minutes out of my way to pick it up now. But it is what it is. But yeah, so I might not check in tomorrow as much, but like I said, starting Sunday, I will be trying to do a 48-hour readathon, so I'll be doing a lot more reading at that time. So I don't know if anyone else uses this, but it's one of my favorite little tricks that I learned from the internet. And that's it. You take one of these like sponges that people often use for, I think it's more commonly used for like dishes and stuff like that. And you just fill it with a bit of Dawn soap, and then a little bit of distilled vinegar, and this vinegar is super full, so I'm probably gonna spill some. But I keep it in my shower, and then like once a week I'll do like a light cleaning. I can't open this. There we go. A light cleaning while like my conditioner is sitting, and that way I don't have to do like a deep clean of my shower every weekend, because I clean my bathroom every weekend. And so I only have to do that like once a month, and it just saves me so much time. And it's just a little tip that I learned on the I think it was Instagram probably, that I thought I would share with you guys. Look at my beautiful banana bread. All right, I look a little bit shiny, but it is about a 4:20, and I just finished the next chapter that I was reading of Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This chapter kind of focused on the kind of the recovery period, where the trial is now over and she's kind of struggling to get back to normal. This chapter had another moment that made me cry. There's been quite a few in this book, but I'm still really enjoying my read of it, and do like getting through it at a slower pace, just so I don't get overwhelmed or anything like that. So this is working out pretty well. So I just wanted to let you know that I did finish that up. I'm probably gonna try and do some editing now. I wanted to edit my wrap up, but I have to use a specific program to upload my videos to my computer, because my phone and computer are like not compatible at all. So I can't just like upload them via like an aux cord or anything like that. And sometimes this program just doesn't upload a few clips. So I was able to upload most of my clips, but not all of them. And sometimes I just have to wait 24 hours and try again later, which is really annoying. But yeah, I'll probably do some editing actually on this vlog and kind of put together what I got yesterday. And then I did do a second video today, which I was able to upload, so I might work on that as well. It's almost dinner time for me. I usually eat around 5, so I'll probably work on my editing until then, and then I want to watch Howl's Moving Castle tonight, because I did finish that book just before I started this vlog, so I want to go ahead and watch that. I will go ahead and check in with you once I start my book, Don't Cry For Me, so I can give you a bit of a synopsis on that. Guys, it is Sunday morning. It is 9:30, and I'm about to get started with my 48-hour readathon. Sorry I didn't check in with you again last night. I actually have a lot of anxiety that goes along with sleeping in an empty house. So I was a little bit too stressed and it ended up not sleeping very well, which is why I'm kind of starting this kind of late-ish. 9:30 isn't like super late in the day, but I was hoping to start it a little bit sooner, but I just needed some time to kind of recover from a very restless night. But my plan for today is to try and read for like 45 minutes and then take 15 minutes to do some editing. I have a couple other things that I need to do chore-wise. I mean, I did a lot of chores yesterday, but I still need to put away my bedding. I haven't done that yet. I need to empty the dishwasher. I need to check on the hummingbird feeders because I made new hummingbird food yesterday. And I also have a couple snack items that I want to make. I want to make another batch of my roasted garbanzo beans because I really like putting those in my salad. And I also want to pickle some red onions because I did that once and they were really good, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it again. So those are some things I might do today, or it might shift over to tomorrow a little bit. We'll see. But as far as reading goes, I am starting with Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. Now, I did read the first 2 chapters, which was only about 20 or so pages, as well as the author's note at the beginning. So it seems like this is going to be a very personal story for the author. He states that he and his father didn't have a really great relationship, and he had always hoped to kind of repair this relationship. But unfortunately, before that happened, his father was diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's, and no longer could remember the harm that he had caused to his son. And so he kind of wrote this book to express kind of how he wished his father would have tried to apologize. So these letters from this main character are kind of what he hoped his father would have written if he ever had the chance to apologize and try to make things right with his son. So this book kind of seems to be starting at the very beginning when it comes to this father's treatment of his son and how his behavior is very rooted in my cat is licking the mat under his food bowl. That's his way of saying he's so hungry that he's just has to lick up these little crumbs because he's just starving, as if he hasn't had 2 breakfasts. Yep, you had breakfast twice. You're not one of those elf people from Lord of the Rings. They're not elves, are they? They're like the mini version of an elf. I don't know, with furry feet. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, how his behavior is very much rooted in multi-generational trauma, and how that backdates to the way that people were treated during slavery, and then post-slavery, and then how his grandfather raised him, and how he took everything that was passed down through those generations and tried to apply it to his son, and how all of that learned behavior, all that trauma was what played a big part in the rift between these 2 characters. So right now he is talking a lot about just the way that slavery and segregation negatively impacted the behaviors and the way of thinking of Black men. So I think it's really interesting how the author is addressing these issues. My cat is on the counter eating from his cup of food. Okay, just a moment. Look at this chunky cat. Does he look like he needs more food? Because you don't. As I was saying, I really think that it's interesting that the author is taking this route, because we do very much see through studies and observation of people how much the trauma of their past and their ancestors' past play into their more toxic behavior. That toxic behavior usually doesn't just appear because they're just born a bad person. It's just that these certain beliefs are often ground into them through these traumatic events that occur again and again throughout their bloodline. So definitely interested to see where this book goes from here. I'm gonna go ahead and probably check in with you at the 50% mark. Like I mentioned, this book is relatively short, so I'll check in with you around page 150. Alright guys, so it is a little after 4 on Sunday and I finally reached the 50% mark of Don't Cry For Me. Did I think it would take me this long to get to the 50% mark? No. No, I did not. But I always seem to overestimate how quickly I can read. I am not the fastest reader, which is why I usually don't do like 24-hour readathons or 48-hour readathons, just because on average it takes me at least 2 days to read a book, no matter how long or short it is. But you know, we're trudging along and we're doing what we can do and we're not gonna feel bad about it. So I am on like exactly page 151, I believe is the page I'm on. And I am really enjoying the story. I think it really took off for me about page 80, which is when our character had his son, because when I picked up this book, what I was really interested in was the relationship between father and son. And so that's kind of around when that started to happen. I'm really interested in this man's way of thinking and just the way that he is kind of reviewing the way that he has thought, why he did things in the past, what kind of led him to think that way, and how he feels about the man that he was back then in the present day where he is dying. He and his son have a very complex relationship because his son is not a man in the way that the father thinks he should be. He's more feminine than his father thinks is natural, and that's caused a big rift in their relationship. At this point in the book, I think the boy is a teenager. I want to say he's about 12, so like early teens or so. So it'll be interesting to see how things change as the son gets older, because of course the older a child is, the more often they push more openly against their parents. So I'm interested to see how things are moving forward. I'm really enjoying the writing. I'm really enjoying the history aspect of it and just viewing the way that the lives of Black people affected their beliefs and the way they saw the world, the way that they treated each other. I like the discussions of how important education is and reading is, because our main character doesn't, at this point in the story, doesn't really even know how to read, and he's is starting to feel a lot of shame in his ignorance about the history of his people, and just not being able to help his people move forward because he doesn't know how. And he seems to have kind of this love-hate relationship with knowledge, where it was never very prioritize where he came from, and so he never saw a lot of value in it, but now in a way he does see a lot of value in how it can help Black people move forward in life. But he has also struggled with it because of the feminist movement and the strain that it has caused between him and his wife. So enjoying those conversations of just how knowledge changes people, and in the end really makes them stronger. So I am enjoying this read. I am reading it a little slower than I thought, but I also don't want to like be speeding through it because I do think it's having some important conversations. Our character is very much struggling to connect with his son, and you can see very much that right now his behavior is what's holding them back from being able to repair past damage. So I'm gonna keep on reading. We'll see how far we get. I'll start cooking dinner, I want to say around 5ish. I'll probably read for another hour or so. And I will probably check in with you either later tonight or tomorrow whenever I finish this book. Guys, I am here for a quick update. I think it's almost 2ish. So I slept in a little bit this morning until about 9:30. Once again, I didn't sleep that great, but it is what it is. And I finished the last 20 pages of Don't Cry For Me. I did not finish this last night. I just couldn't get through those last 20 pages. But I wanted to go ahead and discuss my final thoughts on this book. I went back and forth a little bit with the rating, but I think the rating that feels the best is a 3.5 rating. There's a lot of things that I did like about this book, but I think once again it just didn't quite meet my expectations. I picked this book up kind of for the same reason as I picked up Razorblade Tears, and I can't remember the name of that author, but these stories both deal with fathers that didn't have a healthy relationship with their queer sons, and I really wanted these books to explore those relationships, but I think in neither book did it explore to the extent that I wanted it to. In this book, it's very one-sided because we are just reading letters that the father is writing to his son. And I think what I would really love to see is a father and son actually physically get together and talk things through and slowly kind of rekindle that relationship. At the end of this story, obviously our character dies. We know that's going to happen. That's not a spoiler. He's dying of cancer. He's writing these letters because he's at the end of his life. And I just felt like we were missing a bit of closure because we don't know what the son's reactions to these letters are. We don't even know if he ever read them. We don't know much about how the son's life is going, because at the end, his father was very much unaware of what his son's life even was like. And so I feel like I lacked a certain amount of closure for this story. But at the same time, I really enjoyed how much the story seemed to focus on the danger of ignorance and the negative impacts that it has on one's relationships with those around them, whether it be with their friends, with their wives, with their children, or other family members. That was something that was highly focused on, especially the importance our character was putting on his reading. He was often pointing out that, hey, I'm reading now, and I'm learning a lot, and this is how I'm becoming a better man and how I'm realizing the flaws, and just I really enjoyed the importance that the author put on educating one's self. I also really enjoyed the writing of the story. I thought it was really well done, very, very beautiful, and moving. This book didn't make me as emotional as I thought it would. I mean, I honestly thought this book would make me cry. I mean, it definitely had emotional parts to it, but it didn't quite give me that gut punch that I was hoping for. So really, I think that I just had really high expectations for this book and was hoping to get something very specific from it, and I just didn't quite get that. So that's why I got a slightly lower rating. A 3.5 for me is still a really good rating. Pretty much anything over 2.5 from me is me still recommending this book, and I do highly recommend you pick up this book because it did have some interesting conversations going on. I was just not 100% what I wanted from it. I did also go ahead and read the next chapter of Chanel Miller's Know My Name. So I'm now on chapter 13. I'm not really going to talk about this because I'm still working on it, but I just wanted to let you know that today I went ahead and got one step closer to finally finishing this book. So the next book that I'm picking up is The Last Son by Katie Edwards. This is a reread for me. I want to reread the first and second book in this series since the third book came out last year. I don't remember too much from it, so I'm actually just going to read you the synopsis from the back because I feel like that best explains what's happening in this book. So Rune St. Jones, last child of the fallen Sun Court, is hired to search for Lady Justice's missing son, Adam, on New Atlantis, the island city where the Atlanteans moved after ordinary humans destroyed their original home. With his companion and bodyguard, Brand, Rune questions Adam's relatives and business contracts through the highest ranks of the nobles of New Atlantis. He must navigate old friends and enemies and a growing attraction to a handsome nobleman. But as Rune and Brand investigate, they uncover more than a missing man, a legendary creature sowing destruction through the city. In looking for Adam, Rune will find more than he was hired for. Clues to the fall of the Sun Court and the secrets of his own past. So I remember when I first read this book, I was not a huge fan of urban fantasies, but I have read a few since then and warmed up to them. So I'm hoping that I enjoy it more than the first time. But I will go ahead and get a little ways into it before I give you my initial thoughts on it. All right, I just took all the trash cans out, so now I'm all hot, but I always look like a gym bro when I'm wearing straps. But I have gotten through the first about 46 pages of The Last Son, so I've read about 3 or 4 chapters. The chapters aren't numbered, so I don't know how many chapters I've read, but I just wanted to just pop in real quick. So the way this book starts out, our main character Rune is the last member of his household. His household was, I think, about a decade ago now, utterly destroyed, and he himself was sexually assaulted by a group of men that took part in the raid that killed his family. So just trigger warnings for sexual assault. I don't remember if it's in this book or the second book that it does go a little bit more in detail of what specifically happened to him on that night, but just a heads up for that. And at the beginning of this book, he is on a job for the Tower, who is someone that he went to for protection after his family was murdered, and he still does work for him from time to time. And another household, the Lovers, because all the households are based off of tarot cards, is being raided by 12 other houses because they have been taking part in some sketchy behavior, and so the other houses are getting involved to kind of tear them down and kind of split the spoils. And while he is making his getaway from this raid, the head of the Lover's household, she kind of captures him and asks him for a favor, and she offers him a sigil in exchange. And these sigils, I hope I'm saying that right, are pretty much like magical objects that people in this world use. They are very limited, so they're worth a lot of money and are very precious to them. And you're able to kind of store different spells within these and then use them as like protection or aggression spells when you are out doing your thing. Anyway, she asked him to deliver a package to a certain place, and he was like, for a sigil that's worth like $100,000, and I have barely any because my household was destroyed. Hell yeah, I can deliver a package. And it turns out that package is actually her grandson, and he is to deliver him to his 21st birthday, and he's currently 17 years old. So Rune was definitely not counting on that. But he has now, in this last chapter, headed to the Tower in hopes of kind of maybe figuring out why she wanted him to protect this grandson. And the Tower said he would look into it, but has also assigned him a new case that the second son of the Justice household has gone missing. So that's kind of the missing person that was being talked about in the synopsis. So we are going to go ahead and go from there. That's just kind of the setup of the story. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a relatively fast read, to be honest. I mean, I already read about 50 pages of this book relatively quickly. I forgot how much I enjoyed Rune and Brand's relationship. Brand is his, I don't know if there was a special name. It's like companion. Brand is human. He's not arcane like Rune is. He's human, but he bonded with Rune when they were infants. And so he's like his primary protector. And he's the only one who survived the slaughter of the Sun household. So he's very protective, and they're able to like communicate telepathically and things like this. And I always really enjoy their relationship. I never really understood why the author never got them romantically involved, at least in the first 2 books. But hey, I'm still optimistic that maybe he'll do that in the 3rd book. But yeah, so enjoying the characters so far, enjoying the plot set up. I do remember the world building was a little overwhelming for me, but hopefully, since I'm a little bit more used to reading books with higher world building, and also this is my second time reading this book, I'll have a little bit of an easier time. So I will check in with you later when I have more to say. All right, guys, I'm about to watch one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not a big movie person, so I haven't seen a lot of movies, but this one is called Deepwater Horizon, and it's based off of a true story about an oil rig that blew up in the Gulf of Mexico, killing 11 men. I've watched this quite a few times and it always gives me terrible anxiety, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again. If you have not watched this movie yet, watch it. It is just so good. Guys, so it is Tuesday, the last day of this vlog. I haven't done much reading today because I slept in and went to the gym, but I did read a chapter of The Last Sun, which brought me over the 100-page mark. So I just wanted to just give you some of my additional thoughts. I don't have too much more to say about this book. I am really enjoying it. It is a relatively quick read. I'm enjoying the magic system. I'm enjoying the characters and their relationships, and all the side characters we're being introduced to. I'm really enjoying the mystery aspect of the story, and them going around and interviewing different people. I think it's a really interesting way to get some world building, and introduced to different important members of this society. We have also been introduced to a new being that seems not to be very good, and seems to be someone that existed a long time ago and has now resurfaced in the world and is probably gonna cause some issues along the way. So having a really great time with this. I'm definitely not gonna finish it today, which means I'm not gonna finish it in this vlog, but I will give you my final thoughts at the end of the day, up to the point of wherever I get to. I also got to the 18% mark of Blackmail and Babinka by Mia Malasala, which is my current audiobook. And this is just the third book to Arsenic and Adobo. It's just a cozy mystery. One of the things I really like about this is the friendships, the family relationships. I really like that they all have small businesses. I like when small businesses are involved in stories. It just brings out more coziness to it. We are having a bit more family drama in this story because a relative has returned who had previously been a bit of a troublemaker and a bit of a disappointment, and so everyone's a little bit nervous, especially now that that person, of course, is the one being accused of murdering or possibly being a suspect to someone who was murdered on his vineyard, which he has purchased. So really enjoying this one. This one also seems to have a blackmail theme as well, hence the title. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, but I'm not too far into it. Just once again, just enjoying the ride with just a little cozy mystery. So for the rest of the day, I don't really have any plans. I think I'm gonna edit a video. I was gonna film today, but I'm too lazy to do my hair and do my makeup, so we're gonna do that next weekend. So we're just gonna edit the video I have left to edit, and then just continue reading, and I'll check in with you tonight to finish up this vlog. Alright guys, so it is around 9:30 on Tuesday. It is time for me to go to bed. Back to work tomorrow. Long weekend is over, and so is this vlog. I was kind of hoping I would make it to page 200, but I only got to page 180, which isn't too terrible. I don't think I have too much more to say than what I've already said. I'm really enjoying my reread of this book, especially since I remembered literally nothing about this book. So it's like reading it for the first time. But I feel like I'm absorbing the magic system and the world building a lot more than I did the first time. I slightly remember being somewhat confused while reading this, but no, having much easier this time, really enjoying what I would consider a relatively complex magic system. But like I said, I don't have a ton of experience with bigger magic systems, so this is complex to me. For someone who's more experienced with high fantasy or adult urban fantasy, may think it's just a regular magic system. But either way, still really loving the characters, mystery aspect, and all the different kind of like monsters and creatures that are present in this world. So I guess if you want my final thoughts, you'll have to check out my wrap up part 2 for February. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this vlog now. Thanks for joining me on this long weekend. And I hope you guys have, I guess, a great weekend, because I'll be posting this on Friday. And thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!